All right, all right. So, this live is gonna be more of a conversation because we talk facts and shit like that all the time, and this live has more to do with the accountability of fans. You see what I'm saying? That's what this live is about. And the reason that I felt like I should go live and talk about it as opposed to doing a video about it is because this is something that's better freestyled than prepared. If we just going to talk some facts, you got to do the research and pull up the facts. Whereas for this, we could just straight talk this. I got a big problem when it comes to talking about pound for pound lists because boxing fans don't have no fucking accountability. And if you have no accountability, right? If your word don't mean shit, then why should I talk to you? You understand what I'm saying? Just for example, before ahead of Charlo versus Lubin fight, when Lubin was building his buzz, you had a lot of motherfuckers that was talking shit leading up to that fight. That he gonna expose Charlo, da 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 da. He gonna do this, he gonna do that. Myself, I picked Jamal Charlo to win because I'm like, look, I'm looking at Lubin's resume and I don't see shit. I don't see nothing on here that leads me to believe that he's ready for this fight. Now, based on that, I was right. Lubin wasn't ready for that fight. He got caught with a shot that he didn't see coming because he has not been in high-level situations to where you got to fight a really tight kind of fight. You can't afford to make mistakes. Lubin did not have that experience, and that's why he got taken out like that. So I think about that and how quickly all those guys that was talking that shit, telling me that, yeah, Lubin gonna win the fight. The fuck you talking about? Da 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 da. I think about how fucking fast all them motherfuckers disappeared. It got real quiet after that. It got real quiet after that. Where did all of y'all go? And this is what I mean about boxing fans. The average fucking boxing fan has no accountability. They will say some shit and renege on it and flip the script the very next fucking day. So when it comes to something as contentious as the pound for pound list, something that they wanted to be a matter of opinion, but they don't rate fighters based on matters of opinion. They don't. You don't rate Vasyl Lomachenko, for example, based on opinions. You rate him because of something that he actually did. And in that way, you're using a fact to rate this fighter. The same applies to Canelo Alvarez. The same applies to Terence Crawford. The same applies to any pound for pound fighter that's rated in the top 5. You're using matters of fact to call that fighter number 1 and number 2 and number 3 and number 4. It's fact based. But they only want it to be subject to opinions when the facts don't stack up the way that they want them to. Like if you tell me, Errol Spence, he pound for pound, he beat Kell Brook in his backyard. If I turn around and tell you, okay, well, Julius Ndongo beat 2 guys in their backyard, is he pound for pound because of that? You're going to try to flip it, but I'm just sticking to the facts. This is an example. Reading the questions and shit. That's an example. You can't sit here telling me that, he pound for pound because he beat a champion on the road. A lot of motherfuckers beat champions on the road. You don't consider them pound for pound fighters, right? So why would that make him a pound for pound fighter? You got to add more to the argument than just that. And that's my point. Boxing fans have no accountability 9 times out of fucking 10. You cannot hold them to their word. You cannot hold them to their logic. So when I see people get critical that I have Manny Pacquiao at number 1, I'm literally sticking to the logic that's on the list. You got guys that wouldn't say boo if I had Vasyl Lomachenko sitting at number 1. But ask yourself a question. Out of all the guys that Vasyl Lomachenko has fought in recent memory, the one he's about to fight, Luke Campbell, the one that he just fought, Anthony Crolla, which one of them was an undefeated world champion? Which one? I'm good, Ziggy. I'm good. I try to tell people this and they hit me with yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Kamara, that eye test shit don't mean nothing to me because the eye test told some people this past weekend that Anthony Yard was going to beat Sergey Kovalev. And I said, no, sir, the proof is not in the pudding. You have not beaten nobody that communicates that to me. So I'm going with the guy that's proven. And guess what? I was right, wasn't I? I was right though, wasn't I? That eye test shit don't mean nothing to me, dog. Eye tests are your anecdotes. That's just what you looking at and what you think based on what you looking at. But you might not know what the fuck you looking at and end up being wrong. Like all these guys that thought Anthony Yard was going to win the fight because of their eye test, because you know damn good and well Anthony Yard resume don't look nothing like Sergey Kovalev's. So it wasn't resumes that led you to that conclusion. It's not the quality of competition. It's not title defenses because Yard was never a titleist. So if you picked that guy to win, it was because of the quote unquote eye test. Well, how did that eye test work out for all them guys that swore up and down Anthony Yard was going to win that fight? How did it work out? It didn't work out, did it? Nah. The logical choice was Sergey Kovalev because of what he had proven already was down on paper. I was goody, SSB. Was goody, Victor Penn. Was goody, Nino Brown. Now, I ain't related to Benny Blanco from the Bronx, but I don't blame you if you think I sound like him. I was goody, LeBron. But yeah, and these people, like I said, as always, when they fucking get it wrong, what do? They get quiet, they disappear, and try to act like it never happened. Accountability among boxing fans is more elusive than James fucking Toney. Is more elusive than Vasyl Lomachenko. It's more elusive than that because these motherfuckers can't shut the fuck up and they can't be held accountable for nothing they say. It's like, bro, like, don't sit here talking to me, but I can't accept Manny Pacquiao as number one. If I had Vasyl Lomachenko sitting at number one, right, you'd probably accept that. But let's compare. Who did Manny just beat and who is Lomachenko about to fight and who did he just beat before that? Is Luke Campbell a world champion like Keith Thurman was? No. Is Anthony Crolla, was he a world champion the way that Keith Thurman was when he fought Vasyl Lomachenko? No. But you trying to tell me that Manny hasn't done enough in recent memory to be on at the number one spot, even though he's more accomplished than everybody. He's more accomplished than Terrence Crawford. He's more accomplished than Vasyl Lomachenko. He's more accomplished than Canelo Alvarez. And he, you know, the shit that he's doing is not limited to shit that he used to do. In the last 3 years, Manny Pacquiao has beaten one consensus top 5 welterweight in Tim Bradley when they had their rubber match. That's in the last 3 years. That was in 2016. After that, he beat the reigning WBO champion, Jesse Vargas. You fast forward, he beats the reigning WBA champion in Keith Thurman. But you want me to believe that Vasyl Lomachenko beating Anthony Crolla and Luke Campbell is supposed to be better than that. That's what you want me to believe. Those are your anecdotes. What's goody, Lennox? I personally feel Manny might beat Lomachenko. Great to see you here. I was goody. The ghost was goody. It's a lot of shit like that. That to me, it's like, look, beliefs don't come into the shit, bro. Because the way that I do a list is not based on predictions. It's based on what the fuck they did already. So don't try to sit here and sound smart and try to argue to me that Vasyl Lomachenko beating Anthony Crolla is supposed to be better than Manny beating Keith Thurman. Vasyl Lomachenko potentially winning a vacant title against Luke Campbell. That's better than Manny beating Keith Thurman. Is that what you're trying to tell me? Because I had a guy in the comments not that long ago trying to tell me that Manny has not done nothing in recent memory. And I'm thinking to myself, yo, Keith Thurman is a better win for Manny than most of the guys that Vasyl Lomachenko been fighting. Than most of them. Most of them. Now, if I had Vasyl at number one, he'll probably accept that shit without no complaints. But because it's not a guy that he like, oh, now you want to get analytical and shit. Even though I already broke it down, you tell me, who did, is Anthony Crolla a bigger win than Keith Thurman? Is Luke Campbell a bigger win than Keith Thurman? Let's try it with Canelo. Is Daniel Jacobs, who had the red belt for all of 10 seconds he had that belt, is that a bigger win than Manny Pacquiao beating Keith Thurman, who was undefeated? Nobody beat him. Which is the bigger win? Comparatively, which is the bigger win? Who was the longer standing champion? who was comparatively more proven at their weight? Did Daniel Jacobs do at 160 all the things that Keith Thurman did at 147? These are just matters of fact. I'm not getting into what I believe. I rarely get into what I believe when it comes to the pound for pound list because it's not about what I believe. It's about what's shown and what's proven. Yeah, I put it that high on purpose because I speed up the audio so that the videos don't run too long. Most people don't know that. Most people wonder why it got the chipmunk voice. For those of y'all that are watching this, I speed up the audio so that the videos don't run too long. Because if I don't speed up the audio, every fucking video will fuck around be like 30 minutes. So I speed up the audio. That way I could cut on video length, the time it takes to make the video. I appreciate that, Cyberpunk. But yeah, you tell me, is Daniel Jacobs a bigger win for Canelo than Manny Pacquiao beating Keith Thurman? Because that's essentially what motherfuckers is trying to tell me. If you telling me that Manny ain't done nothing in recent memory and it should be Canelo at number one, Crawford at number one, or Lomachenko at number one, I'm going to look at the last fucking fight they had and I'm going to compare who had the bigger win. And it just so happens that Manny beating Thurman is a bigger win for Manny than Crawford beating Khan, than Canelo beating Jacobs, and then fucking Lomachenko beating Anthony Crolla. Y'all just in a hurry for him to be number one. Y'all been doing that funny ass shit. Y'all just want him really fucking bad to be number one. But if I ask you logical questions that require the logic to be cohesive, to make sense, y'all can't fucking tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing. Now, if you want your list to be based on anything other than facts, more power to you, because that's what a lot of y'all lists are like. You have a pound for pound list, but it's not based in facts. It's based on your opinion only, and your logic can be used against itself to collapse your list. That's a matter of fact. That's reality. If I look at a person's list, I could be like, all right, why is this like that and why is that like that? Whereas if you ask me, why is this person here and why is that person there? I could tell you lickety split why they there. I could tell you. It's not complicated. The list uses the accomplishments of the fighters as a reflection of their skills. Because if they wasn't skilled, they wouldn't be accomplishing shit. It's that simple. Vasyl Lomachenko is considered a pound-for-pound fighter. Why? Because he accomplished so much in only 13 fights. So his accomplishments are the unit of measure for his skills. If he was just fighting 13 Joe Blows, 13 club fighters, would nobody call him a pound-for-pound fighter for that? But it's because he climbing in weight, he getting titles, he unifying them, he defending them. That's why you call him a pound-for-pound fighter. But y'all pick and choose when y'all want that shit to matter. When it's a fighter you like, oh, all that shit matters. But if it's another motherfucker that did the same shit and more, oh, now it don't matter. Now it don't matter. It's a lot of sucker shit. I'm not a man fan, dog. That's why a lot of shit, the way you behave yourself, right, has a lot to do, the way you behave yourself when it comes towards discussing the sport, I should say. It has a lot to do with your character as a person. And I'm not a bullshitter. I don't like bullshit. I don't like beating around the bush. I don't like double standards. I don't like pussyfooting around. So that's the way I discuss the sport, is in that way. My character is reflected in the way I treat the sport. They're like, what the fuck am I going to accommodate this guy for that guy for? I'm not getting no money, and I'm not a man fan to where I got to accommodate one guy more than another. No, we call it down the middle. We're going to be objective and fact-based as possible to call it down the middle. I'm not even a fucking Pacquiao fan, but I got him at number one. Why? Because it makes sense. Because that's what the facts show. If you're a fact-oriented person, you tell me which one of them is more accomplished than Manny Pacquiao. Yeah, but you know what? You know what, SSB? I don't pay attention to them guys no more because them guys, they word don't mean shit. You see what I'm saying? If you can't be held, if your word don't mean shit, slow it down, and think about it and process it. If the person's word does not mean shit, then why should I talk to them or why should I worry about what they say? It sounds simple, right? But really think about it. If I see it's a guy that he make videos, but he has no accountability and his word don't mean shit, then what the fuck do I care about what he's saying? I don't. I'm not going to waste no time on it. Usyk, based on who he beat, probably number one. Weren't big names. He beat solid fighters. I had Usyk. Everybody knows, oh, what's Goody Boxing beats and round. Yo, I'm a big fan of that dude's channel. I just gotta say that. And I think more or less I gravitate towards the channels that implement the same logic, I should say, that I do. Boxing Beats and Rhymes is one of those channels. I listen to every fucking video, every video. But I'm gonna say this to respond to Boxing Beats and Rhymes. He said too many individuals with different criterias for pound consistency. And to that, I'll say this: the only common denominator with every pound for pound list that's out there is that they are all attempting to do the same thing. They're attempting to tell you who is the most skilled fighter in the sport. It doesn't matter if it's ESPN's list, Ring Magazine, CBS Sports, Yahoo, IFL TV, Ring IQ. They are all trying to tell you these are the most skilled fighters. It's how they go about it that differs. But what I will say is that nothing is a more accurate barometer for skill than what the fighter actually fucking did, who he actually fucking beat, the divisions that he actually fucking fought in, the world titles that he actually fucking won. Those are the reflections of how skilled that fighter is or is not. If you got a fighter today, right, that he used to be nice, he used to be one of the best, but these days you don't give him no chance of winning the world title at his weight, what does that tell you about that fighter? What does that tell you? If I say Austin Trout used to be nice, but he ain't winning no title from nobody at 154, what does that tell you about Austin Trout? Now, if I said Austin Trout could beat anybody with a belt at 154, what does that tell you about Austin Trout? It's all more simple than it appears, but people want it to be complicated because they want wiggle room for their opinion. I don't use my opinion when it comes to this shit. If we go off of opinions, Terrence Crawford would beat the living shit out of Manny Pacquiao. That's my opinion. But you don't see me using that in my list, do you? Nah, I don't rate Terrence Crawford above Manny Pacquiao based on my opinion because you know what? They never fought. For all I know, I could be wrong. For all I know. You know what I'm saying? I don't use opinions for a lot of shit. The only time you're going to really see me consistently use opinions is if we're discussing some shit. Like, okay, who's going to win a fight? But if we're talking about a pound for pound list and making an assessment of who the most skilled fighters are, the proof is already there. Some people just want to ignore it. The proof is already there. You cannot be one of the most, no, let me rephrase that. You cannot accomplish all these different things and not be skilled. You can't. There's no fucking way. The skills are the accomplishments are a reflection of the skills. Because if you didn't have skills, you would not accomplish shit. You'd be a club fighter. People ain't sitting here talking about Vasyl Lomachenko for a fucking eye test. They not. If this guy is actually in the conversation of being a pound for pound fighter, it's because he's fought in multiple divisions. He's won world titles. He's beaten top contenders. He's beaten world champions. And it didn't take him a long time to do it. But all those different things, all those accomplishments, that's why he's in the conversation. Because if he hadn't done all of that, nobody would call him a pound for pound fighter. He'll be Joe Blow. Or yeah, like he look nice. You know, he fight good. You know, he look all right. But he ain't fought nobody real yet. So until he does, the jury's out. There's only one truly way accurate. Your system, don't get me wrong, but all pound for pound lists are inaccurate in one way or another. No, it's not about opinions, Andrew. I'm sorry. You are all about opinions. You don't want to accept that the list doesn't look based on the facts, because nothing I'm saying is an opinion. It's all facts. You don't want to accept the facts for what they are. You want it to be about opinions. When a list is only as opinionated as you want it to be. You don't want to use the facts. You want to use your opinion. Okay, then that's what you need to say, that your list is opinion-based. It's based on your opinion. It's not based on their pro records. It's not based on what they've done in their careers. It's not based on titles. It's not based on divisions. It's not based on quality of competition. It's based on your opinion. That's what you need to say. Because as far as I'm concerned, the only testament to how good you are is your professional record. That's it. If you're one of the best, your record is going to show it. That's it. It's not, ain't no opinions in that shit. If you one of the best, your record is going to show it. It's going to show you fought in multiple weight classes. It's going to show you fought champions. It's going to show you unified titles. It's going to show that you did this, you did that. All of that is proof. All of that is proof. None of that is opinion. All of that is proof. My list works fine. You just don't like that Manny Pacquiao is more accomplished than Terence Crawford. You want to have Terence Crawford above Manny Pacquiao for what reason exactly, Andrew? For what reason? Did they fight and Manny lost? Tell me. You tell me. If Manny Pacquiao has done more as a professional boxer than Terence Crawford, and he's still a world champion today after all these years, what has Crawford done that he should be ranked ahead of him? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. And I'm a Crawford fan. I'm not a Pacquiao fan. I'm a fucking Terence Crawford fan. But make it make sense. You tell me, if they never fought, but Manny's more accomplished, then what the fuck did Crawford do that he should be ranked ahead of Manny? They're both world champions, right? But Manny beat more world champions than Terence Crawford. He fought in more weight classes than Terence Crawford. As a professional at the high level, longer than Terence Crawford. He beat first ballot Hall of Famers. But you telling me none of that shit matters. Okay, so you tell me then. You make it make sense. You got to make it make sense, not me. Because I'm just going off of facts. That's it. I'm going off of actual facts, actual fights, actual professional records, simple matters of statistics and facts. But you don't like the way it looks, so you want to go against that. So you make it make sense. Bruh, you the one that got to make it make sense. I'm 100% sure if Terence Crawford beat Keith Thurman, you, Andrew Harmon, would count that towards his pound-for-pound status. I'm 100% sure. If Crawford would have beat Keith Thurman in dominant fashion, you would count that towards his status as a pound-for-pound fighter. But because it's Manny, you don't want it to matter. If it was anybody, if it wasn't Manny, if it was Spence, if it was Porter and he beat him in a rematch, if it was Crawford and he beat him, if fucking Mikey Garcia beat Keith Thurman, if Vasyl Lomachenko jumped from 135 to 147 and beat Keith Thurman, you would count that towards their status as a pound-for-pound fighter. But because it's a fighter that you don't really like, oh, it don't count. Because that's all you telling me. That's all you telling me. Whereas for me, it's even across the board. If Terence Crawford was the one who beat Keith Thurman, it would count towards his status as a pound-for-pound fighter. If Errol Spence beat Keith Thurman, yes, that would count towards his status as a pound-for-pound fighter. Sean Porter, Manny Pacquiao, and he wanted him. Why? Keith Thurman's an undefeated champion. It has to count. It has to count. You don't want it to count. So you're telling me that I should rank fighters based on a fight that never happened? That's your logic, Andrew? That's what you telling me? You telling me that because you think something might happen, that's how they should be ranked? Not based on reality, but based on what you think. Isn't it always the same story, y'all? Ain't it always the same story? Fuck reality. Fuck records. Fuck facts and stats. Let's focus on what Andrew thinks. And if Andrew's wrong, if he's wrong by some chance, where is the accountability? I'm leaning a little bit towards Vosdick, but don't quote me on that. I'm not settled. I'm not settled. But I am leaning a little bit towards Vosdick fighting from the outside behind his jab and setting Beterbiev up for big right hands, all from the outside. But like I said, don't quote me. That's not final. That's just the first shit that came to my mind, that I could see Vosdick boxing around him and nailing him with that jab. So there is a scientific way of getting it right. You just don't like it. You don't want to accept that your opinion does not align with reality. Now, when reality does align with your opinion, okay then. But right now, you want to rate a fighter for a fight that he never fucking had. That's what you're telling me. You want to rate a fighter for a fight that never fucking happened. I'm not going to do that. That don't make sense. That's not how ranks work. If they don't actually fight, then all we could do to see who the better fighter is cross compare their records. That's all we could do up until they fight. Yeah, he know how to move around the ring, and I ain't forget that Beterbiev got caught out there by Callum Johnson. Callum Johnson could hit, but boxing skill wise, he's not a tactician like Vosdick. If Johnson could find a hole in Beterbiev's defense that he caught him out there between the punches, Vosdick maybe could do a little better, maybe. But like I said, I'm not settled doing that, so don't quote me. I got to look at more footage to see how I feel. You don't take pound for pound seriously, but you wanted to comment on mine. So you got to take it a little seriously. You left a fucking essay in the comments under a video about pound for pound list. So don't lie now. Don't tell me you don't take it seriously, but you took the time out. Go look at that video. Look at the fucking essay he left me in there. But now, like I said, what did I say about accountability? Oh, no, I don't take pound for pound. Man, get out of here, man. Get out of here. The fuck out of here, man. All right, what's good, Miss Fat Peaches? You can't fight? Well, that's too bad. I don't know what to say about that. I have Beterbiev. I can't trust Vosdick. Hey, yo, listen, bro. We know this. Let's just have the conversation. We know that Beterbiev. We know that Vosdick fought a big puncher before. Who was the big puncher? Adonis Stevenson. Up until that point, Adonis Stevenson was the most concussive puncher in the division. As far as one hit a quarter power, Adonis Stevenson was that guy. Vosdick fought that guy. And he didn't just beat him. He put the motherfucker in the hospital. He didn't just beat him. Like, all right, man, get out of here. Out. Okay, get it and get out. He put the motherfucker in the hospital. All right. So we know that Vosdick has dealt with a big puncher before, but has Beterbiev dealt with a really good boxer before? Who he not just gonna sit there punching and trading with you. Nah, he gonna box around you. He gonna fight behind his jab and set you up. Who has Beterbiev fought that was like that? That's why I lean a little bit towards Vosdick. Really want to hear your take on the lawsuit. I don't know if you know the full details, but I wish email. Oh, which lawsuit, bro? Thank you, Blue Collar Sports. That's all I'm saying. Fighters don't get a fair shake because of guys like Andrew Harmon. I'm going to put it to you that way. That's the reason that you see that a lot of fighters sometimes they don't give a shit what the fans is talking about because of guys like Andrew Harmon. You pick and choose what you want to recognize about a fighter, what accomplishments you want to recognize. You pick and choose when you want to say, oh, yeah, that shit matters. You pick and choose when it's convenient for you. It's not across the board. That's always been the problem with boxing. Too many motherfucking opinions from too many lazy fucking people. Like, bro, it don't take nothing to look up and see. These is the statistics. These is the facts. It don't take nothing to do that. Some motherfuckers is that lazy though. You don't take well to criticism. Bro, you don't take well to criticism. I'm not insulting you, but you have no accountability, Andrew. Do realize that. You typed out a full paragraph in under the comments of a video that was about pound for pound lists. So you could turn around and say that, oh, I don't even take them seriously. Bruh, you just don't have no accountability. That's all. I'm chilling. My list is not going to change. But, you know what I mean? He fuck around, does beat him karate body. He probably do. Dang, this is the third Andrew I met today. Ha 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 ha. Like I said, bro, remember, you cannot type out a whole paragraph, a whole fucking, that shit looked like you was answering SAT questions. You left a whole paragraph under a video about pound for pound lists. And then when we discuss it a little further, what do you tell me? Oh, I don't even take pound for pound. You take them seriously enough that you write paragraphs. You take them seriously enough that you do that. Accountability, folks. You either got it or you don't. It's like a chin. It's like hand speed. It's like power. Accountability. You either have it or you don't. Some people have it. I do. Some people don't. What do you say to people who think Crawford isn't pound for pound number one because the chin? I'm gonna put it to you like this, Hugo. It all depends on how much stock you have in what a person is saying. I have no stock in Ring Magazine's pound for pound list, for example. I don't. I know that other people do, so I cite that from time to time. I don't have no stock in, say, Ring Magazine's pound for pound list, or maybe ESPN's. But I know that other people do use it as a point of reference, so I will highlight that. But for the most part, if a motherfucker don't got Crawford on their list or they trying to shit on him, bro, I don't give a fuck. All that tells me is that that person don't know shit about boxing, and I don't need to talk to them. Everything doesn't need to be argued. It's a lot of people on YouTube that say a lot of fucking stupid shit. If you argue with every one of them, you never stop. So the smart thing to do is, what the fuck am I listening to you for? Why would I be arguing with you? You see what I'm saying? Like, for what? You obviously don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So what am I going to waste time on you for? You're going to start doing every so often. I really like, I'm more preferential to doing research and preparing it and putting it together. I'm not one of these guys that's in a hurry to point a camera in my fucking face and just talk. Like, I only do that shit unless we could straight talk it, that we just having a conversation. That aside, most of the time, I want to be accurate. I want to cite my sources. So I rather prepare videos than just go live to be going live. All them other weirdo dudes, they go live so they can panhandle. Scratch the Patreon. Them motherfuckers. I don't need to do that. Ivan Marshuka. They're the most popular, but not the most recognized. Pound for Pound existed long before Ring Magazine became a thing. I was goody, Jimmy Mac. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, what opinions you take into consideration are entirely up to you. And if you want to take into consideration the opinions of idiots, so much so that you want to argue with them, then you're shortchanging yourself. Because when I see stupid shit now, when I see dumb shit that people say now, unless I could tell some funny jokes about that shit, I leave it alone, man. I'm like, this person's a fucking idiot. Like, look, when Terence Crawford was going to fight Victor Postol, this is what I mean. Before the fight, everybody was like, yo, he busted Mathise Eyebone. Danny Garcia ducked him. He's the Iceman. This was all before the fight. There was people picking Victor Postol to win that fight. All those fucking people that was talking all that shit, they disappeared after that. They disappeared. There were people right here on Ring IQ that were picking Jeff Horn to beat Terrence Crawford. Right here on Ring IQ and YouTube and on Facebook. Yes, there were people that were picking Jeff Horn to win that fight. Where do you think those people went after the fight? It's for this reason I say that don't waste your time on them people. They have no accountability. So what they say, even though they never shut the fuck up, but what they say does not matter. What you say don't matter. What I say matters to you, and that's why you're here. But what you say to me does not matter because I know you're full of shit. Rigo. How many people put a battery behind Rigo's back thinking, oh yeah, he gonna expose Vasyl Lomachenko. He's gonna embarrass the great white hope. And then when the fight happened, who got quiet? Where did all those people go? All those Rigo fans, where did they go? No fucking where. They talked all that shit for 2-3 years, wasn't it? 2-3 years of them talking shit. The fight happens. Oh, now y'all want to get quiet. What happened to what y'all was telling me? What happened? The Anthony Yarde shit. It's the same shit. Gassing him up. There is no reason on earth, logically, if you're a logical person, there's no reason you pick Anthony Yarde to win that fight. There is absolutely nothing that he had done leading up to that fight that indicated that he was ready for it. Some people picked him anyway. All right? I'm not that kind of person. I'm not faulting anybody who picked Yarde. But what I'm trying to communicate is I'm like fucking Spock, bro. I'm all logistics. I'm very meticulous when it comes to that. I'm very logical. I'm very level-headed, and I'm very even-tempered. So if it comes down to trusting logic or having, like just taking a wild card, bro, I'm gonna go the logical way. I'm gonna always go the logical way. Why? That's what fucking makes sense. That's what makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Look, GM, I'm not knocking you for picking Yarde. That's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is from where I was sitting, there was no logical reason to pick Anthony Yarde. Now, I know that you have more accountability than some other people. I know that. You see what I'm saying? But what I'm trying to communicate is there was other people that was picking Yarde talking shit. Where are those people now? You admitted, just like I admit when I'm wrong and I picked the wrong pony in the show, I say it outright. I admit it. I crapped out, picked the wrong pony in the show. It's that easy. You see what I'm saying? The same way GM admitted it is the same way I would admit it. Like, yeah, I picked the wrong guy, man. I was wrong that time. When Dorticos got knocked the fuck out, I admitted it. Like, yo, I was fucking wrong, dog. I thought he was going to win that. I mean, not Dorticos. Tabiti. When Tabiti got knocked the fuck out by Dorticos, I had to admit, yo, I was fucking wrong, bro. It is what it is. Exactly, GM. That's how I look at it. Tunde telling Yarde to empty the tank at the start of the 8th was madness. I agree with you a little bit, Sporting Icon. Well, that's Sporting Icons. I watch all your shit. I'm a fan of your channel. It really depends on how you look at the fight. I honestly believe that because of how inexperienced Anthony Yarde actually was in every capacity as an amateur and as a professional, when you take that into consideration and then you look at that 8th round, you have to say that he did okay. All things considered, he did okay. Am I lying when I say that Anthony Yarde fought a better fight than Jean Pascal in 2 fights with Kovalev? Is that fair? Think about it. Anthony Yarde came closer to taking out Sergey Kovalev than Jean Pascal. And Jean Pascal got to fight him 2 times. Think about that shit. That's why I'm not trying to shit on Tunde or shit on Anthony, because whatever they were doing, they came close. They came close. And that matters. That's worth something, that they came close. I dig it, Sporting Icons. I agree with you, Victor Penn. I do think that he needs to spar. Obviously, what this shows is that Anthony can be better, but things need to change. That's what it shows. Look at what he did with what limited experience he had, and just imagine if things was a little different. Look at how close he came. He came close in the 8th round. He did. So was that really bad advice from Tunde Ajayi? Empty the tank. Go for the gusto. The way I look at it is Tunde, Anthony, they got to know we're not winning a boxing match. We're not going to win on points. There's no way we win a decision out here. So we got to go for the gusto. And if that's what he was telling him to do, what other instruction could he have provided for him? Then, yo, go for the kill, bro. Empty the tank. Go for it. It's late. He's slowing down. Go for it. I don't look at it as being as bad. I was watching Beats' video about the shit, and Beats made a lot of valid points about that shit. But the way I look at it is, I get that you cannot substitute textbook boxing skills with catchphrases and motivational speeches. That's 100% true. You can't, bro. Like, you either gonna box this shit out or you not. But I still feel, given that Anthony, this dude never fought a Joe Smith, bro. This dude never fought a fucking Tommy Karpensi. Legit. So for him to have done as well as he did in the 8th round, it has to stand for something. Like, they're not doing it all wrong. You see what I'm saying? They ain't all the way wrong. Now, if he would have walked in there and got fucking destroyed in 2 rounds, then I'd say it's time to leave Tunde Ajayi. It's time to leave him. But the fact that he hung in there, he showed his condition, he took the punishment, he came close to knocking Sergey out, that has to stand for something. It has to. I agree with you, Texan. I agree with that. I think Buddy McGirt is breathing life into Sergey's career. I agree with that. I agree with that 100%, Jimmy Mack, that he skipped steps. Anthony Yarde skipped steps. He did not have to take that fight as soon as he did. So my hat goes off to him, because I didn't think he was even going to take that fucking fight. I didn't think he was going to take that fight. So the fact that he did, props. The fact that he almost came close to knocking him out, props. I got to give it to him. Yeah, Yarde has no fucking jab, man. He really don't, but that's something that he would have developed in the amateur system. That's something that he would have developed over time as a professional. So if he didn't have a jab in that fight, well, we all know why. Does the quality of the champions Canelo has beaten make him the pound-for-pound #1 over Crawford? Not really. Think about the champions that he beat, right? Liam Smith is better than who, dog? Think about it. I'm going to put it to you this way. Even Canelo has some catching up to do. It's not that one is head and shoulders above the other. The last video I uploaded, I said it. They're neck to neck. Crawford, Lomachenko, Canelo, they're neck to neck. And they're getting to the point to where they're interchangeable with each other, because Canelo actually beat more world champions than Terence Crawford. But Terence Crawford has fought in more divisions, and he's unified an entire division. Canelo, for all his shit, he never did that. You know what I'm saying? Like, Terence Crawford has been a full-fledged world champion in 3 weight classes. Canelo has only been a full-fledged world champion in 2 weight classes. To top it all off, Terence Crawford was undisputed. Canelo had the chance to be that. You understand? He had 3 fucking belts, y'all. WBC, WBA, and the IBF after the Jacobs fight. He only had to get 1 more fucking fight. He would have moved past Terence Crawford. He would have moved past him on that. That, like, you fought more world champions than him. You would have. And you also were undisputed. then you could say, all right, Crawford should be, Canelo should be ahead of him. But nah, you let it get away from you. So I dig it, the Texan. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. That at first glance, you see the names, but then you remember the particulars. You remember that, like, yeah, you beat. Look, when is the last time that Terrence Crawford had a controversial win over anybody? Or that it was even competitive? Every fucking fight this guy's been having, he's blowing people out of the water for consecutive years. You understand? Years. It's not, oh, he blowing motherfuckers out the water right now. No, everybody he's been fighting for the last 3 years, 3-4 years, is dominant. It's one-sided. Canelo, yeah, he win, but it's always controversial. It's always it's always, or it's a little bit competitive. I can't remember the last time somebody really pushed Terrence Crawford. Like, pushed him. They can't. They fucking can't. Shit. That's another thing, Mr. Classical Metal. Like, people see names like Kermit Centrone, little guy, Alfonso Gomez, little guy, Amir Khan, little guy, and they like, oh yeah, Sugar Shane Mosley, old past it guy. Like, really? Mosley? Come on now. They see the names and they have no sense of time. Like, bro, a lot of them guys is guys that you brought up. You know what I mean? A lot of them guys, those was not world champions that you beat. Kermit Centrone wasn't a world champion. Not when Canelo didn't win a belt from Kermit Centrone. Not from him. Benavidez was solid, Nick. I'm gonna say this. Benavidez, I liked how Benavidez handled himself personally. I liked how he handled himself, but as far as the fight and who's winning it, it was clear that Crawford was winning that fight. Clearly winning the boxing match. On the scorecards, it wasn't a hard fight to score. I just liked that Benavidez wasn't, he kept him on his toes. That's the best way to put it. He kept him on his toes. I don't agree with you, Lennox. Lara didn't beat Canelo. What, like, I don't know why people think Lara beat Canelo. What fight did y'all watch? He made him look bad, but he didn't beat him. You making him look bad is not you winning the fight. What can I compare that to? I'm going to tell you what. Ray Robinson versus Egidijus Cavaliauskas. Everybody was focusing on how Cavaliauskas didn't look great. But Ray Robinson wasn't doing shit to beat him by running around the fucking ring and just occasionally throwing jabs out there. That's all you doing. You're not winning doing that shit because you really not landing either. That same shit applies to Lara. You talk all this shit, macho shit, come to the conference, talking shit so that you could spend the fight on your bicycle? Fuck out of here. Stop wasting people's time there. Anyway, look, it's been a pleasure. I'll holler at y'all. I'm probably going to upload one more relay video before the day is out.